So I supposed to recorded this earlier, but I fell asleep and I discovered that chicken and me really don't agree. Like, I found that when I actually eat chicken, I'm sleeping. Okay, so where is the form that I need? Just a second. I could not find that form. So we're just gonna be janky. I'm just gonna use this side here. And, oh goodness, just a second. Okay, we're gonna try this again. I couldn't find my spreadsheet. I created a spreadsheet so I can now keep a record properly of my side income as well as my expenses, but I cannot find that sheet. And the truth is, I can't find that sheet because I was not doing what I was supposed to do in the month of September. I guess that's what's going on. So I'm not going to fret about it. I'm not going to worry. I did go ahead and, since I was doing a lot of searching and sweating, I worked up a sweat, I did pour me a glass of wine. I haven't had any in a long while. I actually picked this up a couple weeks ago, and this is the Cypress Bend Vineyard. It is a North Carolina white wine, and I was in Total Wine a couple months ago when a young lady who was actually picking up a couple bottles of this wine, she actually was talking to me about this one. And so I was like, hey, I'll look into it. She liked it because it had I think it just said like a peach or pear taste, I believe. But nonetheless, it is a sweet wine, which I decided just to open it up just to see what it's about. I haven't been to this vineyard yet, but I wanted to go ahead and give it a taste. So yes, we are drinking on that tonight. Oh, look at that. Don't worry, don't fret. I have another sheet. So, oh my goodness. If you're new to my channel, I'm Dee. This is a Single Mom Unguided Life, where we talk about, finances, but we talk about how I'm navigating through finances, motherhood, being single, and everything in between. And I take you along for the journey to hold me accountable. Today's video is going to be about my side gig update. We'll go ahead and pull out me some markers. I hope they're good because my son probably haven't used these in forever, but we're gonna see what the dealio is with them. So as you will see soon, is I am going to show you clips of like my talks about my side gig. I decided to multi-app in September, and it was a hot mess. Whew. Let me take this off and let's get it crack-a-lacking. I hope you guys can hear me. I left my earpiece, so it's definitely going to be low. I'm going to talk as loud as I can, but I want to talk about why I decided to multi-app and what I was multi-apping. apping. So let's first start. As you know, with my side gigs, I had been focusing on Grubhub because I felt that it was easy. I'm picking up this food and I'm delivering to these people's home, and we good and cracking, right? Well, that's not always the case. I found that you do a lot of driving for little, and it became frustrating because I can get orders like I pick up within my region, but then the delivery is out of my region, and that is straight crazy. So, but I signed up for it, and it tells you that anyway. I just didn't like being on the hook for them. So I think that's where my disappointment came, because it was like, I want to keep, and then there was no way to actually see it like they said we were supposed to see it. That was another thing. I still haven't figured out, like a lot of people say they can see people tips. I can't see people tips, and I cannot see, can I see the distance? Maybe I can't see the distance. I'm not 100% sure. But what I have determined is that I don't want to do blocks anymore with Grubhub, because they tie you in. And when they tie you in, it's hard when you don't want to do something. You got to work your way back up to get your acceptance rate back up. So yeah. So I decided to multi up with, I do Grubhub, as you know that I was doing. I'm signed up for Uber Eats. I'm signed up for Shipt and Instacart, and I used to do that last year and the beginning part of this year, but when the pandemic hit, I slowed from that and decided to just, I didn't even go into the stores myself. I was putting in orders, but I decided to go ahead and pull that up. I think I stumbled across Alyssa Roberts here on YouTube, and I have seen other Instacart stories from different YouTubers, content creators, excuse me. But it was just like the stories she was telling, the experiences, it was like right up my alley. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get back into it. So when I was supposed to be doing Grubhub in a block, I picked up some Instacart order because they were not sending me anything. And it was like, come on now. They didn't send me nothing until... They didn't send me anything until after I closed out, and it kept bothering me about not being available, because I closed out because it was an hour into the shift. It's only 2 hours, and I went ahead and picked up an Instacart at Target. I would say it was kind of easy, but not easy, because I know Target, but Target doesn't. This Target near me don't have everything, because they just don't. They just don't. So I had a customer, it was a double batch. I had a customer who was responsive, another customer who was responding, and then she straight went ghost on me. And so what happened when she went ghost on me, and she only had 3 items, and one of her items was not available. And then it was, no, the 2 of her items wasn't available, and I was able to find a replacement for 2, and she wasn't responding, so I was just going to refund it, but I was like, I'm not going to drive to nobody's house and give them a item. That's not going to happen. So I contacted them. I was like, this customer is not responsive. They tried it, no response. So in turn, they just dropped it for my order. Luckily, her tip was not the bigger tip, because they do group someone who doesn't tip at all or tip well with someone who does. So that can sometimes be confusing and discouraging at the same time. So luckily, she was not. And the person that I actually was shopping for that was responsible, it was several items I had to replace for her. Reason why I was like really adamant on the person with the smaller items to get it going was because the one with the larger order had perishables. So yeah, so that was my first day back to doing Instacart within Grubhub, and the Grubhub was like, hey, we haven't heard from you, we're kicking you off the shift. So they kicked me off the shift, but when they said it, I was done with the Instacart, so I signed back into Grubhub, got an order. It was for the restaurant that, like, from the area where I left from Target. So I was in, the person I dropped the Instacart off was not far. And so what I end up doing is just going back, but the delivery was actually far. And the way that this person lives is they live on like a busy road, and their front door is on this busy road, but you can't park, so you have to know that you have to go in the back way, where that's where they have their back area and entry, and that's actually what they refer to the front. So, and then when I got there, it was a gentleman. He was standing there with his dog, not on a leash. It's his property. I'm not gonna be all upset about that. But when he seen my position or me hesitating, he did not even attempt to grab his dog just in case, because the dog kept doing like this. And so he didn't even attempt to grab his dog. And I just, to be quite honest, pet moms and dads, you have to understand that your pet knows you just like your child knows you. So to keep telling someone he's not going to do anything, or he just wants to play, you don't know anyone's trauma behind this. If you see hesitation, grab your dog. It's as simple as that. And he did not. He never. Actually, and then with somebody else leaving from, because the way I couldn't really see the addresses on the back, like on their, because they were on their garage, but they were like in the inside of it, not like on the outside. So I knew I had to get out and walk and see which house was the customers. So another person was coming out like on the other side of him, and he even stopped to talk to them, and it was looking like the person kept like motioning like they need to go, but it's like he purposely was staying there with his dog. Finally, he walked away, and even when he was walking away and I started walking towards that area, the dog was hesitant as well, like kept stopping. And not once did he say, "Come on, Pooch, come on," nothing. So that was my whole thing. So I was like, you know what? I am not going to be tied down to Grubhub. Now, my customer was awesome. The tip was awesome. And I actually passed this out walking, but I guess he was watching, so he seen me. So he came out, "It's me." And another dog was coming, but luckily this customer, his neighbor had like a fence in his back area. So the dog, but it was not even a tall fence. So the dog wanted to be a show horse. This was the day he was gonna prove it. And my customer had a dog, and his dog was coming, and he turned around and he said, "Go back." And I was looking like, is he talking to a child? And now he's talking to a dog, and the dog stayed still. But it was stuff like that. So I just felt like, for me, I don't want to be tied down to Grubhub. So that's when I went into doing the Instacart. So I've been multi-apping, and I try to do it, but I found that it's very hard with Uber Eats, because Uber Eats likes to go over stuff. So when I was trying to navigate to a store for Instacart, it popped, and I clicked accept. No, I don't want that. And it was something like $5.08, and it was like, nah. But yeah. So I've been doing Instacart. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna edit this. I hope you guys can hear me, because I left my earpiece. But we'll see when I hear back how it's going. I'll see how much chop and screw this. All right. This more so is the update about the money. So, and excuse my handwriting, it is not the best, but we are going to work with it. So this is the side gig update. I know it's gonna be janky right now, but we're gonna get it together when next month, because I do have that form set up already. So yes. So with the side gig update, I primarily was doing Grubhub. I started watching Alyssa Roberts. I hope that's her name, but her name is Alyssa, and I have seen other individuals like Dimples on Demand, who I follow, and then I start following Driving with Jazz that does Instacart, and it made me think about going back into doing Instacart. Now, I signed up with Instacart and Ship last year. I have been doing it up until right before the pandemic. They have changed a lot about their platform, which I honestly like. So when Grubhub was giving me all of the business that wasn't good for the month of September, I started falling into doing Instacart as a way to just get my feet wet into multi-apping. So I will insert a clip somewhere so I can tell you a little bit more so why my decision to add on Instacart and my last few experiences with Grubhub. So let's talk about the money part. So we know in August it was $504.73. So for September, because of the many complications as well as me, I didn't make as much. It was only $400.16. So for the past month, I have made $904.89. Now, let me tell you about September. What I actually have remaining in my side income account is $164.64. You say, how? Where's the rest of that money? Well, that rest of that money was all over the place. I don't have a clear plan for the side income, and I should have been quite honest with that. I kept saying debt and special projects, but then I was making excuses on special projects and classifying things as special projects, to the point is, as I was earning, I was spending. So this is what I was left with, and that's sad. I'm going to drink because that's sad. That is so good. I'm not a really sweet person. It's fall, I know, but it's still warming over my area. So I'm just gonna indulge in that a little bit. Back to here. So yeah, so I have decided that I need to really come up with a plan. I know from the last video I stated that because I didn't know where this was going, I wasn't thinking about taxes. Well, I know that I'll be receiving something to report taxes, so I need to know. I know I need to dedicate something to taxes. So I decided that I'm going to do, and I hope y'all can see that, of the $904.89, I'm going to times that by 20%. So $180.98 thus far needs to be dedicated to taxes. Well, this all you girl got at this time, so I honestly need $16.34. Now, I have a question to pose. Should I pull this from my unbudgeted to make this even, or should I just move along and, cross my fingers that this $16.34 really is not going to make a huge dent or a problem in regards to paying taxes next year? That's where I'm sitting at right now, because I want to go ahead and start building up the taxes. And going forward, I know that out of my side gig is going to be taxes. Now, I decided the best way to actually break down my side gig income is actually to place percentages. So for my side gig, taxes is going to be 20% at this point. I don't feel like I need to consult a professional accountant or CPA or anything at this point, because I'm not making a considerable amount that may cause me to have to pay more into taxes. To be quite honest, federal I'm usually good because I can get plenty of credits. It is the three-headed monster, my state. That's where I fall into a trap, because my state does not give that many credits, and I owe them. I haven't been on them for the past 5 or 6 years since they've moved the largest credit, which was the earned income credit, away from us. So I know 20% needs to go to taxes, so that leaves 80%. I am going to dedicate for special projects each month another 20%. And then for debt, I am going to dedicate 60%. So that's what we're sitting at. This is how I'm going to break down my side income. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the special project category leads me to failure if I do not put a cap on how much is dedicated towards that, versus saying I'm going to do A, B, C, D, F, G, and then putting the money towards that and not having enough to go towards that, not having enough go to taxes. So that's what I'm going to do for at this time. This is the percentage I want to work with going forward. I know it's janky right now. I try to make it as colorful as I could at this point, but I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys an update of where I'm sitting at this time here. Going forward, I have decided I'm not going to do schedule blocks for any side gig because that limits my ability to be able to toggle between each one when one's not popping and the other one is. So with that being said, that's where we're sitting at. If you can, go ahead and leave in a comment where I should pull this from, if I should, if at all. If you like content about finances, about side gigs, about motherhood, about individuals' experiences throughout life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that like button. Please share this to your family, friends, and your coworkers. Peace out.